Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Faith, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for Skool, S-K-O-O-L, and this is the CPS Skool.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host. Tonight we are fighting CPS and stop taking our children. I want to welcome you all. And right away I see one of my regulars, Betty. And I have a friend out there I think has watched me for the first time, Erica. Welcome, Erica. Anyway, I'm here. I'm a real live being. I'm a human being here. And it's the real deal. We are here to fight something I think we all have problems with, the child protection system. Now, it's a federal government entity. And welcome, Erica. Wow. Right on cue. So we are all, have a lot of heartaches in our life. Well, there's one agency that you may have not worked with or have worked with or something, but I find this agency very corrupt, very deceiving, lie, and very abusive. That doesn't mean all of the numerous county agencies, government agencies are bad. It's just that my case was bad. I too was involved in CPS a long time ago in 2010. For 5 years, I fought them for false allegations from lay people. And they were lay people because I did not know that my in-laws would be trying to undermine our children and take our children away. So I'm a father of 6 beautiful children. I miss them all. Now, 2 of them are still living with me, my 2 young boys. But my little girl, sadly to say, she was convinced by the social worker to leave us permanently. And I'll tell you about it in a second. But what I want to tell you all is that my attorney, who just gave a beef speech, said that he has podcasts and shows. He will help you. He is trained in CPS. He is trained in CPS. He has 39 years of experience as a CPS lawyer. His background is family, juvenile, dependency court law. He's well-versed in juvenile law, well-versed in family law, well-versed in dependency. He's been fighting CPS for a long time. Now, I've already been fighting CPS for 15 years, but it is a long time, especially to go over this. Now, I've been doing this podcast for over 15 months, over a year and almost a half. I do it twice a day. You'll find me on at 7 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time, and then again in the morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm on the West Coast of California. I'm in a place called Surf City, USA, 3 blocks from the beach. And my 2 sons still live with me. So I do have somewhat of a family there, but it's a small place. I lost my home because I had to quick sell my home to get money to hire Mr. Davis to try to get my boys and daughter back. Now, Betty has a question here. Okay. Yeah, Betty works with them. I think she means Betty is a foster care mom that helps out foster kids that don't have a mom and dad. And the problem being, though, is that Betty also has a brother who had a child, her niece, who was abused by her mother, and her brother, the father, wants to get her back. And so they have a thing going with the IPCP. That is a international placement organization that will transport kids from state to state. Now, Betty is in Montana. And I think Erica's in either Tennessee or Kentucky. I think it's Tennessee. And Betty is trying to get her niece back, and she also is a foster care. She's one of those few foster care people that are good. Most of the foster care I've met are bad. There have been a total of 4 social workers in 15 months that have been on my show, and they were good. Not all social workers are bad, and I know that. But there are a lot of them that are bad. I've talked to over 600 people that that have wanted help, and they say the similar things. My children were trafficked into CPS. They were stolen. They were alienated from us. They're alienated. That's what CPS does. Fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. You need to have a specialist who knows how to fight and navigate against this very troubled agency. Now, I want to help all of you. That's why I'm here. I want to give back. I've been fighting this because I know it's bad and no one's out there to help you. Now, Betty says, see what Betty says. Betty says, my foster son just lost his mom and dad to a shooting. Oh, no. That is so sad. She has a son that she's taking care of and has lost his mother and his dad. You see, the biological parents are the best parents, and sad. But Betty, you're such a wonderful woman to take him in. She now is taking care of a young boy. I don't know how old he is. I don't know how he is. Hello, Marcus De Leon. I remember you from LA County. Welcome. Welcome. And you're still part of the family now. He talked to me, I think either this morning or last night. I can't remember now. Betty says he doesn't have any family members to take him. God bless you, Betty. Thank you for taking that lost boy. And he is 4 years old. Oh, what a tragic thing for a young boy to lose their mother and father. Well, we're in here because a lot of you, are good parents, but apparently your children has been taken because you're fooled or tricked by CPS. Now, what I mean by that, child protection system is what I call CPS. Every county agency in every state has a system, but they have different names, and I don't have the time in the show to talk about all the different names. But like in Prescott, Arizona, it's the Child Protection Services. In Orange County, California, it's the Child Protection Services. Next door in LA County is Department of Children and Family Services. And in Richmond, Kentucky, it is called the Cabinet. But when I say CPS, I mean them all. I also talked worldwide. There are 20 countries that are part of my show. I have Bangladesh, India, 2 countries in the Middle East, 6 countries in Africa, 7 countries in Europe, and across the pond in North America, I have Canada that has 3 provinces that have text messages in. I also have all 50 states that have talked to me in the United States, including Washington, D.C., which is not a state. I've heard from them all, from Tennessee to Kentucky to Missouri. I've heard from them all. And they all have something in common. CPS took their children when they didn't need to. You see, when CPS was entrusted by Congress, they're supposed to protect our children from neglect or abuse. And sad to say, they're doing more than protect them from neglect or abuse. They are how can I say, looking at it as more money. You see, it's $1 trillion business, not million, not billions. It's trillions of dollars are made by CPS. That's why a lot of them have gone rogue, and that's why they take the children, because they want the money. And so what I'm telling you all, that it's a hard road ahead of you. I've been there. 15 years ago. It started with me. My case in 2015 is when my children were stolen. They weren't in danger. You see, CPS is only supposed to take your children when they're in danger. But lately, they've been taking children no matter what. They think they can get away with violating your constitutional or civil rights. Your constitutional civil rights. You don't need to open your door to anybody. Too many people open the door and they're getting shot and killed. Or CPS is there and they take your child. You don't have to surrender your children. You don't have to talk to them. You need to have an attorney present. You need someone trained in juvenile law, family law, dependency law that can fight CPS. Now, my attorney, who gave a brief introduction, is one of those fighters. He's also a trial attorney, and he can also do civil lawsuits. When your case is closed, he can sue for things that happen in court, like committing perjury. And he's won millions of dollars both in state court and federal court. Wow, Betty says the 4-year-old boy that she's taking care of before they were shot and killed, his mom and dad were going to get him back this Friday. I'm so sorry, Betty, to hear that. And Erica says, that's good that you took him in, Betty. That's really good. Now, Marcus De Leon, I was chatting. Let's see what he says. Oops, I didn't put it up there. I thought I did. Okay, let's see what Marcus is saying. I was chatting with you this morning, and I was trying to get a 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. To get a 15-minute consultation are 2 ways for free to talk to my attorney. You can either be a guest on my podcast, Now, to be a guest on my podcast, all you have to do is pick one of my shows. And you're going to write my show producer, Grace. Right now, she had lost her father, so she's not present at the moment. I've taken over helping out. I had to produce my podcast tonight, and hopefully I did it right. I think I have the wrong background or something on there, but that's fine. It does say Fight CPS. Stop taking our children. That's the name of my evening podcast. My morning one is Fight CPS with Bob Pace. But anyway, she will take your request and put you on the podcast and you can talk. Once you do that, I can help you with get a hold of Mr. Davis. Now, a second way of doing it is to call in to my number. My number is 626-698-0990. And that happens right away. Being a guest may take a couple days. But talking my show right now live, you can do on. If you talk on my show or be a guest, I will give you a free 15-minute with my attorney who will meet with you privately through a Zoom consultation. And he will tell you how to navigate and fight CPS and get your children's back. So that's 626-698-0990. That's my office number. We use Vonage, and that will ring my phone right away and ring my cell phone right away. And it's on right now. I can take a call right now. So Marcus, if you want to do it fast, call me tonight. If you want some time, you can arrange to have be a guest. Now, also, when you email Grace, it's at grace@vincentwdavis.com. grace@vincentwdavis.com. Now, I have 14 shows a week, twice a day for 7 days, Monday through Sunday. All you have to do is pick one of the 7 days of the week and say you want morning or evening, and she takes care of the rest. She'll give you the link. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. And we use the StreamYard application on YouTube. And that way you'll be able to talk. And that's, one way of interacting in this podcast. Now, for some of you that are writing in questions, please use this format when you're texting a message or a comment or a question. It must pertain to CPS. Try to put your first name and your city or county that you're in, and also the state. Now, if you're from one of those countries, and I don't know if I've finished with the United States, but I also have Mexico and then Grenada in South America. They're across the Pacific. I have New Zealand and 2 states in Australia, the Gold Coast and the state of Victoria, Melbourne area, in the south coast of Australia. So when you text in, write in a comment or question, please put all the information. And if you're from another country, please say your country name. And if you have a province or state, that would help too, plus the other. Try to be complete with your case. Now, I'm going to leave my phone number up so everybody can see it. The second number on the screen, 888-888-6582, is my law office. When you call in, you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And if you speak to Vincent Davis, you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And that can help you. You need to save your children. You need to get them from being trafficking by CPS. They're the only agency I know that can do it legally, which is wrong. So, Marcus, you have 2 ways to get a free consultation with Mr. Davis. And we have someone from Facebook. That isn't your first name, but I'd like to see a name. I'm so glad that you're going to file a federal lawsuit against CPS in Southern California. I hope you win your case. You may want to wait till after January 20th so that President Trump's aboard. But anyway, I don't want to steer you from doing that. I hope you're using an attorney there. I assume that you're from Los Angeles County or Orange County or San Diego County. And I'd like to hear more about your case. And also a first name. Okay, Dats? I'd like to hear a first name, Dats. So he's new to my room. I don't know him, but I welcome him. I welcome everybody. I have a big family. I have lots of people. My newest person tonight was Erica, and I am so happy to see her. And it makes me feel really encouraging to have you here. And I like the way Erica made a comment. That was great. She wants to participate and help. And Marcus, the ball's in your court. Either be a guest of my podcast or call in. That's all you have to do. And then you get a free 15-minute private consultation with Mr. Davis. Now, if you want to speak longer, like 30 minutes, all you have to do is watch the bottom of my ticket of my screen. I think I have it there. Let me see if I do. No, it fell off again. All right. On the bottom of my screen, if you want 30 minutes, it's $60. You just go to that website. Now, there's a new guide out for grandparents out there. It's for California, but it's grandparents, how to get your grandkids, how to see your grandkids, how to save your grandkids, how to be a guardianship. It's a step-by-step. It's a new guide done by Mr. Davis. It's $9.99, but I'm offering it right now for 50%, half off, $4.99. All you have to do is use my code. It's my last name, capital P, capital E, A, capital C, capital E, and followed by the number code 50. That's PACE50. And they'll get you there for $4.99. You just call in that number, 626-698 626-698-6582. That's the law office, and you can get that guide, and I recommend it there. Now, does anybody have any questions before I get into other things about the show? Does anybody have any questions? Eric is now saying hi. Okay. She's now saying hi. Now, Marcus has something more that he wants to say. I'll send an email to Grace to set up an appointment for your podcast. That's great, Marcus De Leon from LA, California, because I'd love to have you on for a good hour. And you'll be on my podcast and you can speak. By the way, I can take 8 other people. I can handle 10 people, including myself, on the podcast. There's room for 9 of you. If Market does it, it leaves 8 more. So if you want to be on, you can be on with Marcus De Leon. Okay. Well, I'm looking for questions so I can answer them and so forth. I do have my rules I can talk about. I've already talked about how they interact in this podcast. Be in this room, you can do emojis. You can send me hearts, and you can send me thumbs up and smiley faces. You also can send me stars. Furthermore, if you want to follow my podcast, click the follow button. And if you want to be notified, click the notification button. But anyway, it looks like we have a good group of individuals here. Again, we have Marcus De Leon from Los Angeles, California. We have Erica from Tennessee. We have Dats from Southern California. And then we have Betty from Montana. I'm having trouble with my computer, so I have to hit the escape key to settle it down. Otherwise, I can't really see all the people that talk to me. So we got Betty, Erica, and Marcus De Leon, and then we got Dats. San Diego. Okay, Dats. And you're Larry. All right, Larry. Larry is Dats, and he's from San Diego. So he's filed a federal lawsuit against CPS, and I hope he wins. I hope he wins. And Marcus is going to be on my podcast. He's going to write into Grace. And I thank you, Marcus, for being in here. I know all of you, it's a very hard things. Oh, sorry, Erica. I thought it was either Tennessee or Kentucky. She lives in Kentucky, so there's two people I know in Kentucky. One is another parent that come on the show who lives in Richmond, Kentucky, who's going through a double case of pneumonia. And there's Erica that lives in Kentucky. And so I apologize. I think you live in Tennessee. I was just off the top of my head, Erica. And so anyway, we have Erica from Tennessee who's listening to my podcast. So you'll find me as a very kind-hearted, loving person. I love you all, but what I went through, you never once see in a million years. Now, unfortunately, I lost my job in 2010, and I had worked forever, and I had a home, but I had to get an attorney because my in-laws, who are the parents and sisters and brother, were calling in every week complaining that we're doing something wrong with their children, which was not the case at all. And I had to deal with that for 5 years and prove them wrong. I had to prove them. And so anyway, I am. It's sometimes hard to concentrate when you know someone in the room, and it is kind of funny there. But my case was just a typical layperson abusing the system. That's the problem. There's two kinds of individuals. There are professional people that are trained how to report neglect and abuse, and there are lay people who use it for alternative measures, meaning that they want to retaliate. Like, say, a neighbor doesn't like a neighbor's yard growing on there, so they're going to make up a story and call CPS and try to start something when they don't even have children. Or maybe the dog barks too much. But in my case, it was in-laws that wanted to take my children. They wanted to take my children. And they're very deceitful. I did not know it. If I knew it at the time, I would have nipped it in the butt. But I did not know. My whole problem, I was very, very naive about who's CPS, what is CPS. It's the worst nightmare I ever get into. They build you up, they let you down. They spit you out. They don't care about your children. They don't care about reunification. All they want to do is make money. And the way they do that is to traffic your children into foster care, to alienate your children from the parents. My children were taught to put their hands aside and not love me when I saw them. It was bad. It was so bad while they were in foster care. They weren't told what I was doing or how I was trying to get us back or so forth. The allegations were stupid. They were stupid allegations. They weren't even true to begin with. But that's the trouble with CPS. When they know you're down and out, they come after you. When you have no money to hire an attorney, they come after you. But I quick sold my home that I had worked many, many years to buy, and I had to sell it. The money I used to quick sell, the money I used was I hired my attorney, who was Vincent Davis. And he got back my two boys. We lost the daughter because what was happening there is the social worker was retaliating because she was caught committing perjury in court. You see, my daughter was trying to be adopted by a mother and father. And so the attorney was sitting there talking about that mother and father and asking a social worker, what kind of parents are they? Have they ever done domestic violence? And the lady said, no domestic violence. They're beautiful parents. Well, then Mr. Davis did a little ploy. He said, ma'am, I'm a little confused here. Let me read your report. He had like 30 reports in his briefcase, read them one by one. Her face turned white, cold, and very distressed because he's proven that she committed perjury. Not only were they domestic violence, there were physical domestic violence where they hit each other. You don't want your daughter in the hands of people that are physically hitting each other. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. So she left the court very embarrassed because she had lied. And that is she wanted to retaliate. You know what she did? She got a hold of my daughter, 12 years old at the time, and in the state of California, they can emancipate, meaning they can divorce your mom, your dad. She divorced her mom, her dad, her 3 brothers, her 2 sisters, her grandparents, both sets, her aunts and uncles and cousins. And then she was told to get rid of her name. Her middle name was Hanalei, a beautiful name that I gave her because I love Kauai. I own land there, or I did used to own land there, and it's my garden of paradise is Kauai Hanalei. But the name's gone. Then she was told to seal her birth certificate and get a new birth certificate from the foster care parents who are adopting her. And she went along with whatever the social worker told her because she thought that was the right thing to do. And she got another Social Security card, and she started to collect on that. She was collecting 2 Social Security cards, and it was bad. It was really, really, really bad. And so, anyway, she was adopted. She changed her name. Now she's 22, and she doesn't talk to the family. My sons still talk to her, still see her, but they don't have to because she's divorced from her. But I encourage them to keep in touch. And I want to reach out to my daughter, but she won't reach out to me. She won't reach out to her mother. She won't reach out to anybody. That's family. In fact, my older children want nothing to do with their family anymore. That means my 3 older girls and 1 older boy, 4 of them, are no longer talking to us, all because of CPS, and what they did was awful. Hi, JD. Welcome. JD is from LA, California, and welcome. I'm glad to see. I like to see you, JD. JD has been on here a long time in the room. He's welcome too. You guys are all becoming part of my family. And I think it's important because here you'll find help. People have told me, Tessa, who's from Chatsworth, California, has told me that the things I told her have helped her with her case. So I'm glad to hear the input because I tell it how it is. I tell how a spade is a spade. And I help you along. I hope any of you get better. There was another guy the other day that was so distressed because he opened his mouth and he was mad at his wife, and he said to the doctors, she needs to have a drug test. He was trying to turn his wife in because her wife did pot, and it has THC in her system, and she could give it to the baby. But anyway, he said, I was stupid. I did out of anger. You guys got to watch your emotions. You got to watch your emotions when you're dealing with these people. Anyway, I'm open to questions, and I'll gladly not talk about stuff you heard so many times over, but I have 5 rules to live by. Rule 1 is to get that real attorney. The court-appointed attorney or public defender you'll get will not help you. They're not trained in juvenile law or family law or dependency law. They're not even going to fight for your case because they have a caseload of 30 more clients. They don't have time. You can't talk to them to talk at their office or to see them or anything else. So I'm telling you, be very careful. You can use court-appointed attorneys and public defenders, but you got to make them work. You got to tell them they don't do their job, that you'll file a lawsuit for negligence. And also, you report them to the Bar Association. So there are ways you can go around making people do things. But these court-appointed attorneys are hired by CPS and they're run by CPS. So they're not going to be the attorney that's going to aggressively fight for your behalf. Now again, rule number 1 is you get a real attorney. Yes, there is a retainer. You need to go out and talk to 3 attorneys. You should ask them 2 questions. Question 1, are you a juvenile law, family law, dependency lawyer and have fought CPS and gotten children back? If the answer is yes, that's good. Question 2, when the CPS is closed, have you ever fought CPS in a civil lawsuit in state court or federal court and won money back? If the answer is yes, you got yourself a fighter. Those are 2 important questions to find out. The money and the chemistry you'll find out later when you interview them. But you want to get 3 attorneys, and one of them is Mr. Davis. And you can call him and talk to him. You can be a guest on my show or call in on my show and talk to him. And believe me, he's not a clock watcher. So those 15 minutes, you'll hear so much. I know that Betty and Tessa have already spoken to Mr. Davis, and Tessa has said it really has helped her. It really has helped her. JD, have you talked to Mr. Davis yet? I thought you talked once on my show. I'm not too sure. But anyway, that's enough said about rule number 1. Get that attorney. Get 2 more, then make a decision. Now, rule number 2 is you need to organize your paperwork. Get yourself a notebook. Get yourself plenty of subject dividers and also plenty of college rule notebook paper and put it into the notebook so you can take your notes and do what. And also your court papers need to be hole punched and put in the notebook. Your parent classes, the completions need to be hole punched. Your drug program or your alcohol program or domestic violence program, you need those certificates in there. And those programs, by the way, are longer, sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year. So if you have any hiccups, you're going to be at least spending a year to 2 to 3 years with CPS. So you need to make another important document. It's called the Timeline Incident Log. It's a list of all your incidents you've had with CPS or police or maybe the school or your parents next door or whatever the case may be. All you need to do on the first line is put the date, the time, the location, and who are the people involved, the names. The next line you want to do is put a summary of the incident in 1 sentence, a summary of the incident. And then third line, you put the outcome. And the outcome you may not get right away. It may take you weeks, months, or years. Keep that space handy, and when you get it, put it in. And then skip a line and do the next incident and the next incident, skipping lines. That way you get caught up. And it's whether you're with the police or the social worker, your children or a neighbor or a parent or whatever, you need to write down what the incident was about and the outcome. So Anyway, that's an important document to have. Now, rule number 3, as I told you earlier, you don't let them in your home. Too many people have been killed opening the door. Too many people have been killed opening the door. There's no need for you to open the door. There's no need to. Bad things happen. And if you're expecting a family or friend, give them a special knock how they open the door. Special doorbell ring or knock. And that way it protects you. It protects you. Now, you're probably wondering what CPS is doing. Well, they're trying to make you either mentally unfit or they're making up some false allegations. You should try to do a settlement conference before you go to dependency court. Dependency court, the hearing is the first one you go to. That's where they determine if they have enough evidence to keep your children in foster care and to put yourself through the ringers. It's a horrible experience to be involved in foster care. A lot of it deals with the numbers of the parents. It is hard for me because I think back, because I say the story over and over. But that rule 3 is I made a mistake of opening my door. I should never have. I made the mistake of talking to a policeman and a social worker. I should never have. You see, for 5 years, I was talking to him. I was able to convince him to stay out of my life. I showed him the utility bills. I even had my house, showed the food preparation area, showed that each child had a room and a bathroom, showed the master bedroom, big double door with a French door that overlooked a balcony, that overlooked a swimming pool in the backyard and the Pacific Ocean out there. I had a jacuzzi and a toilet closet. I had a walk-in shower. I had his and her closets. They all were toggle switches. It was upgraded to the new standard. It had vacuum suction lines in every room. So it was a beautiful home. And unfortunately, I let these people in my home I should never have. You need to get an attorney right away. If you don't have one, you need to tell them that you cannot talk to them any further until you get an attorney. And you need to do so within that coming week. Because you cannot hold off CPS. They will abuse their powers. They will come in after you. So I know it's really, really important. It's really, really, really important there. So, Data had another question here. Let's see what Data had to say. Okay, I want to help you, Data, from San Diego County. The 4Es, the only federal funding CPS gets for placing your child or adoption or placing your child out of state. Not necessary. Let me tell you where they get their money. First of all, the money is not monitored. It comes from Washington, D.C. at a request by the county of the state. And then the counties request it from the state. You see, when they have a case, they need to get a number. So they call up the county, get a number, and they start the money. The money in my children's case, I know firsthand, was $20,000 per child. I have 3 of them. That's $60,000 they're getting every month for 3 years from having my children in their hands, in their custody. And it was sad. It was sad that they were getting the money. Now, President Clinton signed in a law in 1994 that was called the incentive law. That's where they gave CPS, the child protection systems, a bonus for putting the children into foster care, for having them adopted into foster care. They got $5,000, and if there's special needs, they got $9,000. Anytime they put a child in there, that's on top of this of the $20,000 they got per child for my children. So it is a money-making business. And my social worker is one of the worst. She wasn't college educated. She didn't even have a high school diploma. She had no license, and she had this job with very little experience. She wasn't married. She was in her 20s, early 20s, which is nothing against being in early 20s, but she didn't have the expertise or the experience. And she's fighting with her lives. That's so sad. And they were getting bonuses and incentives. The CPS workers are corrupt. They are very, 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 very corrupt. So there's lots of ways they get billions of dollars every year. Billions of dollars every year that they get. I am just waving to my son and his girlfriend who left me this morning on my podcast talk, and I was in tears, and I didn't mean to be. And tonight, I'm being pretty good. I'm not in tears, but I'm very emotional. But anyway, welcome home, my son and girlfriend. That's great to see you guys. I do have a family. I do my best here to take care of my family. Hi, Margaret King, and she's from St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome, Margaret King. And she has been on here a long time, and she is running she is helping to fight CPS. We have Tessa that started a petition, and she too is trying to fight CPS. I'm so glad. We have Dats from Southern California. We have Margaret from St. Louis. We have JD from Los Angeles County, California. We got Erica from Kentucky. And we got Marcus. Oh, boy. Did I forget you from Marcus? Oh, my goodness gracious. Marcus is from L.A. He's from L.A. I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah, that's where he's from. And then we have Betty from Montana. And my computer's locked up again. I hit escape, then I hit back arrow, and then I try to see if I can scroll up again. Dats. We got Dats. We have Betty from Montana and Marcus. I got everybody in here. I'm so glad to see you, Margaret. I'm talking about my rules. We have 47 minutes in the show. I have 13 minutes left. 13 minutes left of my podcast. And I'd love to have questions instead of me doing all the talking. Now, I was talking about my rules. We're on rule number 3. And that's where you don't want to let people in your home. And you certainly don't want to talk to them. There's only one way they can get your child or talk to you. They have to have what's called a warrant. It's a legal document the judge signs in court. CPS or the police will go and get a warrant. They say they need a warrant because they need to address the person or investigate the person. They have to sign under oath that what they're saying is truthful. So they have to sign under oath that what they're saying is truthful. But I know CPS does docket up the documents. They reuse court warrants all the time. And how you can catch it is the dates. They forget to change the dates. You see, if the dates are on a weekend or a holiday during the week, then you know it's a bogus document because court warrants are not issued on holidays during the week or holidays on the weekend. So that's really easy to spot that out. Further, the warrant must have the correct information. It must have the name of the person that they're addressing and the names of the children and the allegations, whether neglect or abuse. Then they got to have the address of where it's being served at, and then they have to have special instructions of what's being investigated, like they need to talk to you, or they want to do a home inspection, or they want to take your child. They have to have a warrant. Now, if domestic violence is taking place, they'll bust in. If the child's in danger, they'll bust in. But don't answer the door. You don't have to by law. And you certainly don't need to talk to them by law. You can tell them that your attorney will contact them. You don't have to tell them you don't have an attorney. But you need an attorney because it's real scary. These people are serious players. Their retaliation, the social systems, the CPS workers, the CPS system social workers are bad. Most of them are bad, and they're rogue out there. Now, Margaret says something further. What did you say, Margaret? She says, same here, Bob. Thank you. All right. I'm glad to hear that. I'm the love here in this room. I love to be loved. And Marcus says, Monterey Park case is in Elman in LA County. Okay. I knew it was LA County. It's Monterey Park, which is in LA County. He's doing a civil lawsuit. No, he's not doing a civil lawsuit. He wants to speak to Mr. Davis. The person is doing a civil lawsuit is Data, who is known as Larry. Data, his name is Larry. I'm pretty sure that is. Who is in Southern California. Oh, San Diego. San Diego, it's Larry. That's who Data. And it's really Dats, not Data, it's Dats. Dats is a Facebook name. He is Larry, and he's in San Diego County. So I'm still looking for questions now. My phone is open and live. We're talking about rule number 3, and also further rule number 3. If you meet them outside, you don't have to talk to them. Tell them that you're going to get your attorney present before you talk to them. It's your constitutional right to be defended by a lawyer. If a lawyer can't be, if you can't provide for a lawyer, then a court-appointed one will be provided for you. But in this case, in CPS, you're not going to like that court-appointed attorney. They're lazy. They will not fight for your case. It's a waste of time. They'll just help CPS. And I'm sorry to say that. And, it sounds like I'm bad-mouthing or trashing CPS, which I am. I'm talking about the bad element. There's bad elements of CPS out there. Very bad. They've taken abusive of power. And I know it for a fact. I have that friend in Kentucky, not Erica, but Faye Manley. And Faye Manley is adamant how bad Kentucky is. The police are bad there. Even there's squabbles among the people in court, like a sheriff killed a judge the other day because the judge was sleeping with his daughter. It is like Peyton Place with all the gossip that goes on there. Police are very corrupt in Richmond, Kentucky. Kentucky ranks as the lowest, worstest place to have a CPS case. I'm sorry, Erica. I hope you don't have a CPS case because it's the worst state to live in. The police are bad there. They don't like you. They do not like you. So I'm telling you, be very careful around CPS. Have an attorney present. It'll save you. Also be careful of trafficking, medical trafficking. That's where if you take a child in to urgent care or the emergency room because they're so sick, be careful. There's social workers that work out of there, and they will try to take your kid because they misinterpret something. So you got to be a heads up. Do not surrender your child. They have to have a warrant. Another kind of medical trafficking is giving birth. If you're going to have a baby and social workers walk in and want to take your baby with the police, tell them to get out of the room. Have the hospital staff tell them to wait in the lobby. They need to have a warrant. They need to take out a warrant. So I'm telling you, all my listeners out there, be very, very, very careful. And it is so bad. Now, rule number 4 is how you look on the internet for something. It's very important to have the hierarchy of words. Start off with the city. And if it's a major city like Atlanta, Georgia, that's fine. But Athens, Georgia is too small. So you may have to say Athens, Atlanta, Georgia. Then you put the letters CPS, all capped. And that's going to bring you up hundreds of articles. Furthermore, if you want something specific in CPS, like the etiquette book or something like that, that's where you put it in after CPS. There's a lot to research. Spend 60 hours researching. just lock yourself in your room. Now we have about 5 minutes left, and I've talked about rule number 4, so I got my last rule. My last rule is to gather all your important documents, make copies of them, and put in an envelope. You want your driver's license, your marriage license, your children's birth certificate, your children's social security number, your driver's license, and also you want to have their shot records, the report records, any medical stuff, because you need this. CPS is very corrupt, and you need that along with your notebook to fight them. You need not to give up. So rule number 5 is put all your important documents. Put all your important documents, copies of them, into an envelope of you, your husband, and your kids. Okay. Now, that says, I don't know if I read that one, Dat. Did I read this message from you? It said, what if CPS against tells you don't have your daughter back until you sit down and do an interview with me? Then the school police and the CPS hold your child inside the school and put you out. Well, that's against the law. That is against the law. CPS did try to interview our children, but the school had to call me first before the children. We brought the children up to the school. We transported the children were at school. So they rounded up the children and they talked to them. And we were in another room. And after they got done, the children said nothing that would harm us parents. And the principal and everybody was very apologetic. So don't let them buffalo you. Be very careful what people say. Don't let people buffalo you. They cannot do what they're saying. They cannot, look at your children without your presence. And they cannot take your children. They have to have a warrant. And the school police are not policemen that can serve warrants. They are just a school police officer. And CPS cannot tell you to hold your child inside the school and put you out. That's your child. And that's wrong if you're doing that, Larry. That's wrong. Okay, that's DATS there. All right, Larry further says, all without a warrant. Well, that was wrong. And that's where you can do your lawsuit because your civil rights were violated. I would sue the school district. I would sue that school policeman, and I would sue the child protection services. All three of them, the school, the school policeman, and them. They're all at fault because they do not know the law. They abuse the law. They violate it. They're in a lot of trouble right now by doing that. They're in a lot of trouble. And let's see what, yep. Amen there, Larry. I'm glad you're with me on that. Okay. I have about 2 minutes left. I do need to close my podcast at 8 o'clock. It's 8:03. I guess I've gone over a little bit, and that's okay. I want to make sure you guys get a full hour. I care about you guys. My heart aches for you guys going what you're going through. It aches. It aches so bad. I want to thank Larry from San Diego, who's DATS on YouTube, for sharing me what he shared. I want to thank Margaret King for the kind words and being on my podcast. I want to thank JD from Los Angeles for you being here supportive of me. Erica, who is new tonight from Kentucky, I want to thank you for listening. I thank you, Erica. You're a special friend of mine. I know you. And I want to thank you for being here. And Marcus, it's good to see you again. And you're going to write in and be a guest on my show so you can talk to Mr. Davis. And Marcus is from LA County. And then we have Betty from Montana. Thank you, Betty, for always being in here. Thank you. With that being said, I'm going to end my podcast. This is Bob Pace telling you, keep fighting for your children. And there'll be a brief message from Vincent Davis again. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. God bless y'all. This is Bob Pace.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Faith, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.